Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
Of course, we record Keith and the Girl in the great New York City. And Chemda, I just saw the viral video, over 1 million views, of Michael Rapaport, Rite Aid security guard.
I saw this. I saw it was trending and I took a look, and I do associate Michael Rapaport very much with New York. He's got the whole, what the fuck is this going on,
Right.
And so I clicked on it. What a douche.
And that's the opinion. Here, I'm going to play some for you. I'll tell you what's happening in the video. So he's at a Rite Aid and he has the camera on a guy leaving, all masked up, head covered. And Michael Rapaport's going to explain how this guy was just stealing shit. So you see him walking past the security guard who doesn't give a fuck. The guy also doesn't care that Michael Rapaport is filming everything. Michael Rapaport starts walking outside following this guy. Yo, he says.
Yo.
Guy's walking kind of fast. He wouldn't stand out in New York City, but when you pay attention, he's walking a little faster than normal across the street.
Yeah, so he
Yo, I just watched this fucking dude. Look at this fucking guy. Walk in the fucking Rite Aid, this fucking guy right here, take a whole bunch of shit. Look at him.
2 big bags.
You know what? All right. That's pretty much all he says. And he's from a distance. I wouldn't be able to pick that guy out on any kind of lineup, or even if he was wearing the same thing, I would not be able to know. All you could see is his eyes, because you got to wear a mask when you come in. He's got his hood on. But also, I didn't see him steal. And also, if you're going to be such a big old snitch, take the New York accent out of your face. What the fuck? First of all, did you follow this guy around and watch him take shit? Because you didn't say I saw him take shampoo. I saw him whatever. And by the way, Rite Aid is just our drugstore, right?
Yeah.
And then the security guard doesn't give a fuck because, I don't know, would you stop it? I wanted to be on his side, because if somebody's stealing, yes, that's a crime. But holy shit, who tells on people stealing from Rite Aid?
You're right about the New York accent. It makes New Yorkers look silly. Maybe if you had a Midwestern accent, you're an actor, throw that in when you're being a little snitch. You don't know the guy's situation at all. I don't. It's a Rite Aid. It's a medicine shop as opposed to a GameStop.
Right.
You don't know what's happening. Maybe he's making one big fucking load for the family. I don't know. Who cares?
Maybe he's selling it on the street for $1, like how we get the lotions. Right. You're disgusted by this security guard who, from his perspective, we were seeing the security guard's perspective. From his perspective, he wasn't stealing. He didn't see anything. The guy had a backpack on. And I don't know, even if he was, stop or I'll shoot. Oh no, I shot you. And now there's like blue ooze coming out of you because you stole Head and Shoulders.
Right.
Oh, you saved the day, security guard. That's what I want to risk my life about, the security guard.
And it comes off a little pompous when you happen to be a millionaire.
Right. Where are we here?
Right.
I don't know.
You don't know the story, and you don't give a fuck.
I'm not even saying that you should know the story of every thief. I understand that, like, everybody has a story. We all have stories.
Right.
But I don't know, if you're stealing from the supermarket and the drugstore, it has a feeling to it when you're just going, hey, look at me. I'm on my phone. And this guy's stealing. Nobody gives the fuck but me.
Right.
And expecting to be praised. And then I'm looking at the comments under the video.
What do people say? Yeah, I'm curious.
They are saying things like, maybe there's a meme from the guy from The Sopranos. Remember, if you see someone stealing from CVS, you didn't see someone stealing from CVS. And shit like that. It was mostly shit like, are you fucking kidding me that this is what you're doing? And I was surprised because, and there was a few, and I don't want to remember this wrong, but it's it's the people who believe in the Lord will get you and shit, or somehow this is Biden's fault or whatever. Like where is this line drawn? I don't know.
Even the kid from Atypical would look at Michael Rapaport and go, what? What? He'd flat out say, Dad, you're a dork. Come on.
That was so tough to watch because you don't want to be, we sound ignorant going like you're allowed to steal from a drugstore. It's not what we're saying. We're saying like if you're seeing someone steal from a drugstore, let the drugstore handle it.
Right.
You are not a vigilante. You are not Superman by calling this person out.
You also got the security guard in trouble after 1 million views.
Right. That's a job for someone.
Right. He's at the door. The metal detector gets it or it doesn't. It didn't seem he had a video in front of his face, Balls on you. We know who you are, Michael Rapaport. And so does this guy who you had a video on who clearly doesn't give a fuck about this, right.
And I don't know, maybe you ruined his day. And
I'd be nervous. I would be nervous.
Yes.
I was fired because you didn't even say anything to me. You just started walking outside. That's when you did most of your talking. I'm like, okay, it's a weird fucking place, these CVS's in New York City, right? The guard's like, all right, this guy's leaving. I guess he didn't buy anything after all. And this guy has his phone on me. I don't know why. And then all of a sudden you're in the news.
Yeah. And also you can't really accuse anybody of stealing unless they leave the store. So the security guard has 5 seconds once the guy leaves the store. And then you can't, there's rules. Like you can't really hold the person.
Right.
You're not really seeing it, like all this shit.
And I also don't want to join Michael Rapaport when I'm a security guard. You just maybe I was going to go out. Now we're a vigilante team. I don't need a camera when I'm trying to stop a shoplifter.
And again, we're making shit up. Maybe the security guard did see it. Doesn't matter. What matters is you are Michael Rapaport. I know who you are. And I don't know anybody, but you have been in so much shit that I know who you are. And your big thing is to get someone about and you have a shit ton of followers. And that's the video you put out. That's where you throw your hate at. Right. I don't know. I get that you're like, it's my city and you're stealing from my city. If you'll do this crime, you'll do another crime.
Right.
I'm
when
not
Swarovski
here.
crystals say something, it's Rite Aid. Come on. You don't know Swarovski crystals? Yeah. I was at a pharmacy just yesterday, as a matter of fact. I got my vaccine boost. And by the way, and the arm hurts, but I did exercises right away and it stopped hurting. That's the secret.
Is that what you're supposed to do? Yeah,
I told you when I got the vaccine in the first place, I said, hey, I was going to go to the gym later. Probably a bad idea, right? You want to call my girlfriend? Right. And they're like, no, that's actually better. I'm like, shit. But you know what's funny? The first time I got it at Jacob Javits Center. It's a literal military operation. Guys are there in the fatigues and telling you which way to go, that kind of thing. So you take it pretty serious. Now with the booster, I just go to a regular pharmacist. The feeling isn't as, you know what I mean?
Mickey.
Yeah. The kind of toss you a piece of paper. I'm not even convinced if it's a scam.
Oh my God.
Well, they give me a shot and I'm like, I feel like I need to see some paperwork. Like that was the shot, but I'm like, I believe you.
I know.
I was in and out in 3 minutes.
Oh, really? That's great.
Yeah.
Good.
So I'm the safest person in the whole world right now because I had it. I tested negative after that. And then I just got this shot. So right now you're talking to a clean guy.
Right now, Keith Malley spits in everybody's mouth and we're all okay. That's the science, right?
You'd be fine with it. We told you a story some time ago about a dentist. You would think that's doctor-like, right? Apparently it isn't. A dentist went to get the vaccine because he needed proof of it for his job, but he didn't believe in it. So he wore a prosthetic arm made of rubber, and they're ready to, they don't even try, they're ready to give the needle in the arm. And they're like, what? What is this arm? What? Like,
you know what? This is so disrespectful on so many levels. And one is that if I came in with false teeth and I thought I glued it on so good that a dentist wouldn't be able to tell, that's you with the arm. You think a nurse can't tell a prosthetic arm?
It's an
what
insult.
Movie do you live in? That's not even a good movie.
Did you now Kenda literally doesn't leave her house. If she never got the vaccine, it wouldn't even bother me. But you of course did. Are you boosted up?
I'm boosted. I went exactly on time the week that you were supposed to. I went. And I still don't want to. Omicron is so huge. It's so spread. Rampant. So that I just want to quarantine. I don't know. I wanted to at least quarantine for the spike to come down, and now the spike is coming down. But for like 5 minutes there, things seemed open if you had a mask but now I feel like you can just get it.
A pair of sickos, I'm reading in the paper, dragged a corpse into a post office in Ireland in an effort to collect a dead man's pension. The victim, who appeared to be in his 60s, was propped up by two younger men, a la Weekend at Bernie's.
Did they say a la Weekend at Bernie's in the newspaper?
Yeah. It's the weird but true section. You know the one.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to go to journalism school. When questioned by the staff, the two younger men fled, leaving behind the body. Well, we have to ask this guy a question or two to get the pension put in your name. Okay. He just whispered to me, it's fine. Yeah, I need him to talk. And they just dropped the body and run.
Wow. So they didn't write the whole script. It's not that hard. It's not that easy to write a script, even though the whole script is based on you carrying a dead body. People think it just comes to you. Yeah. People are ad-libbing. These people wrote a script and then they got a whole bunch of production to work on it. Then they recorded it and then they edited it. And you're trying to do that freeballing.
What I would give to see video of these guys planning it. Do they bring up Weekend at Bernie's and be like, these hot chicks in bikinis didn't know a fucking thing. When you think about it, nobody's really thinking, what are you up to? Everybody's got their own problems. We just come in. We also come in last minute when they're ready to go home, and we'll get the pension and done. We need to see his eyes. Fuck.
I wonder if they watched all the Weekend at Bernie's. Like, what came first? They watched Weekend at Bernie's? Right. Or this idea, and then they studied Weekend at Bernie's, because this person had to die within a certain amount of time because bodies start smelling real fast.
You have the idea, and then you try to Google something that matches your idea so that you know you're smart. And Weekend at Bernie's came up, and they're like, okay.
And they thought they were watching a documentary.
Perhaps. Perhaps, maybe they changed the story in Ireland. I just read that in China, they changed the ending. They finally show Fight Club, but they changed the ending. Like they blew up the financial center, right? In Fight Club. In in China, if you watch the movie, you don't see the skyline explode.
You see Mr. Peacock in the kitchen with the candle.
The screen goes black and words on the screen read, "The police rapidly figured out the whole plan and arrested all criminals, successfully preventing the bomb from exploding." Oh, okay. Oh, the end. And everybody got psychiatric help. The end.
That's like on an 80s sitcom when you didn't finish reading the book. So you go to your asshole older brother. Like, look, I just got to have like a in conclusion paragraph to this.
Right.
And your brother fucks with you because he doesn't give a fuck. And he tells you like, oh yeah, the police came and it's a happily ever after thing. So go ahead and write that for your teacher. That sounds legit.
The two main characters then believed in the emperor, and they're no longer schizos. The end. The Onion put out a headline: Chinese man unsure if Godzilla versus Kong is actually that bad or if the government altered it. You can't talk about movies to people around the world.
That's bananas.
Right.
Even with the internet.
I'm bragging about being vaxxed. Let me also brag about something I do, but you can partake in it as well. Athletic greens. Still every morning, I'm drinking my greens, getting all my vegetables. You put in a little powder into water. You can also, I know Catherine Heller uses almond milk for some kind of smoothie dessert. You just chug it down. Boom. You don't have to worry about your broccoli. You don't have to worry about your raw Brussels sprouts. You know, what am I reading? You cook the vegetable. It's not healthy anymore. Of course not, because it tastes all right now. This powder to take it down. That's Popeye. And I'm set to go for the day. Okay.
I wonder if when people take their athletic greens, they go,
Yep.
You're powering
right
up.
now. What's that?
You're powering up.
Yeah, powering up. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system. Check the news with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. They say I'd add COVID to that. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Oh, I don't know if I'm getting too old, but man, I can't keep swallowing all these pills.
I know.
Seriously. I gag almost now. You know, I mean, you take 3 of these, you know, and they're like the size of horse pills. I'm like, I think I'm just going to die. But now I drink them. Excellent. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Here's what you do. athleticgreens.com/KATG. athleticgreens.com/KATG. Take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right. Cheaper than getting all those different supplements. I'll tell you that. And with over 7,000 5-star reviews. Okay. You may have heard this in the news. The great Neil Young said to Spotify, I'm sick of Joe Rogan's misinformation about COVID. If you keep Joe Rogan on, you take my music off. You don't get both.
Okay. Do not spoil this for me. Because do you already know the answer? Do we know the answer? That's first.
Yes, we know the answer.
Okay. Can we work this out before we know the answer?
Okay.
How can they pick? Okay. Joe Rogan, they have an exclusive account with him. They just paid a lot of money and they
supposedly
would have to pay
100
him.
million. I don't know for how long, 100 million.
Right. And so they would have to keep paying him even if they cancel him, I assume, right?
I would assume.
And he's the one trending and bringing people over, and they put a lot into him. Neil
ads,
Young,
by the way, ads for Joe Rogan. I read this. You have to pay $1 million in ads to have an ad.
Oh, like minimum.
Yes.
You have to invest $1 million in the ads. You don't know how much each ad is, but you have to at least $1 million.
So obviously
now,
he's got it going on right now.
Of course. And Neil Young, I'm not saying you don't got it going on. You got it going on for a lot of people. But if you ask maybe the majority of human beings on earth right at this moment, who do they know more or listen to more?
Yeah. I'm not hearing Neil Young in the grocery store. I'm not hearing Neil Young from my friend's radio. And who doesn't like Neil Young? And I love that he was always what do you call it when you stand up for things? An activist. He was always an activist. And we like that a lot. But I've told you this story before. When I was in the Army, we went to a Pearl Jam concert. And that's when Pearl Jam was having a fight with Ticketmaster, which, surprise, surprise, looking back, Ticketmaster won, and they ended up working with them again. They're a big deal, this Ticketmaster. So anyway, we had to win these tickets off a radio station. So we all in these, they're kind of like dorms.
Children, a radio station is this thing that we used to turn on, and a bunch of commercials would come on. And every once in a while, they would play a song that they decided was in your top 40 favorite of that week. And then you can call in and they can pretend to take your recommendation for what to play next. But really, it's from the 10 songs that they're actually allowed to play in between these commercials.
Yeah, I have the song or I don't. Well, how am I going to take your request?
Yeah.
It's in my box of shit or it's not. Henda will now explain payphones to you. So we each took a different payphone, and whoever got through was going to buy all the tickets for our little group. So somebody gets through, gets the tickets. We go to see Pearl Jam.
Wait, you bought the tickets or won the tickets?
You bought them. You still had to pay. I think you still had to pay for them. Yeah, you still had to pay for them.
But you're calling a radio station.
For all of them. You called a radio station. You were lucky to get in for the right to pay for them.
Wow. Okay. All right. Pearl Jam. Cool.
Yeah.
That's easier than Ticketmaster. Okay.
This was the Vitalogy album.
Pearl Jam. I don't mean to shit on you. You tried really hard and I fucking love your music. Oh my God. The album 10, if you have not, do it. It's the album that I have on when I'm high at the dentist. Oh, I am floating, freezing, rest his head on a pillow made of concrete.
I remember for the longest time.
Don't worry about what he's saying.
I'm like, I love his music. Can he really sing or is this a trick? I remember thinking that. But that's funny. That's how much Kendall loves the gas in the dentist office. She's like, put that song about the kids shooting up the school. And she's just laughing from the gas. So Eddie Vedder comes out. This is a big outdoor show, middle of the afternoon. Eddie Vedder comes out. He sings the first 3 songs from Vitalogy. It's perfect. It's fantastic. Then he goes, actually, last night I was shitting and pissing and puking, and I got to tell you, it's embarrassing. I got to take another break. He goes back and everybody's getting restless. Finally, the promoter comes out and goes, Neil Young, excuse me, Pearl Jam can't perform anymore. Goodbye. And then people are like, boo, fuck you. And immediately the promoter does the wrong thing and says, first of all, you're even lucky that you saw Pearl Jam. They're fighting with Ticketmaster. We tried so hard to make this work, and he's sick right now. Fuck off.
If you were my spokesperson and that's what you said, because I'm sick and can't perform, please leave. You are no longer a person who works with me. Don't talk to people who paid money and who paid with their time to come here. And because they're disappointed, you're mad.
Yeah.
Let them be disappointed. It's disappointing. I'm disappointed.
So you could tell that there's going to be a riot. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. So coincidentally, or this happened to be, that Neil Young was making an album with Pearl Jam. There was a Mirrorball, I believe was a Pearl Jam album.
He's saying Mirrorball.
Ball. And then Neil Young's was Merkin Ball. And it was Neil Young. A
lot of balls. And then that guy came in with his big balls. I got big balls. Right. You got big balls. And everyone's the biggest balls of them all.
And Neil Young says Neil Young was practicing this upcoming album with the band minus Eddie Vedder. So Neil Young says, I'll save the day. It's a surprise he happened to be there. And he comes from backstage and starts playing with the band to calm people down. This is my very early 20s. This is easily 25 years ago.
Now he's playing with the band of Pearl Jam while Eddie Vedder is throwing up.
Yes.
So you're actually getting to see Pearl Jam, but Neil Young is fronting it for a minute.
Yeah, but you want to see Eddie, but yes.
Of course. But
I and we all love Pearl Jam more than Neil Young, but at the same time, you still know you're seeing an icon. I was excited. No one gave a fuck. Everybody in my group and the whole audience start filing out. And they're like,
but he did calm them down.
They go, keep your tickets. Maybe and everybody's like, there's never going to be another time. Fuck you. Everybody's just throwing their tickets like it's a bad lotto thing. And nobody knows these new songs Neil Young is playing. Nobody cares. By the time I get to the exit, Neil Young played Keep on Rockin' in the Free World 3 times to get people to care. It's embarrassing. Nobody cared. Now, over 25 years later, yeah, I'd say Joe Rogan's probably a little more relevant. That's my guess.
But why? What doesn't Neil Young know more than one song?
But he was trying to calm us down, I guess. And it's like, well, this is the hit. And he's like, maybe you guys aren't hearing me. Do it
again. Did I say 2, 3, 4? Because we should start with a 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again.
This is the one you guys don't like. No one cared. No one cared.
So I guess Joe Rogan won this. Joe Rogan won the fight that he wasn't even in.
Right. I wonder, like, in the back of Eddie Vedder's head, is he like, okay, just so you know, I was doing a cute thing for you, Neil Young, doing this album. It's not you're a legend and blah, 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 and it's even Steven. And we happen to be the big thing going. Just so you know, it's kind of funny.
I know you think you're being cute, but I think somebody like Eddie Vedder would be like, holy shit, I get to work with Neil Young. It's not like Neil Young doesn't have an audience. They just don't cross yet because this album wasn't out yet. So your Eddie Vedder people at 22 might not be as knowledgeable about the Neil Young music. I know I was listening to Pearl Jam. I was not listening to Neil Young, but it's not like I, make the trends. I do not.
Neil Young said to Spotify, remove the service's superstar. Let's see, what is it? I want to, do I have a quote here? Oh, that's not a quote, but he wanted to either remove the podcaster Joe Rogan or pull the music off the platform. Spotify said, we regret Neil's decision to remove his music, but we hope to welcome him back soon.
Oh,
and then does Neil Young want to be like, let's just keep it on then. Who cares? You got to stick to your guns. And now he's not on Spotify.
And even the phrasing, and, I get it. The phrasing is, sorry to see you go, but you're welcome. Like he didn't even give an ultimatum.
Right.
There wasn't even a choice. It was, I'm pulling out. It wasn't, I'm pulling out or you pull Joe Rogan out.
Right. He is now, though, on Sirius XM. I guess his catalog wasn't there for a reason, and now it is. So Sirius XM is trying to, profit a little bit off this, saying, all right, come to us. You can get Neil Young solo albums. You can get them with Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. You can get them in Buffalo Springfield. You can get them in Crazy Horse.
You know what? That makes sense because Sirius XM people are the Neil Young listeners. They're the truck drivers and the,
right.
I don't know. He looks like he's hanging out with the folks, and Joe Rogan looks all shiny and shit.
Yeah. $100 million. You're not that important to Spotify.
They just invested in him.
Right.
Like this just happened. So they're not even like caught up with their finances yet.
And I have to guess
they haven't gotten the return yet.
Maybe. Right. And I have to assume. And, I'm going to guess that Joe Rogan made some kind of deal with Spotify. Like, hey, I'm controversial. Don't pull me. Does Spotify even make a phone call? Hey, Joe, can you quit putting out this vaccine and misinformation? Joe's like, nah, it's kind of working.
I mean, I do think that they have to say things like that. And, just like we get some emails from the ad stuff. And it's like, maybe you shouldn't say that with it. And we're like, noted. Oh, thank you. It's not, okay. The show that you're putting this thing on and you're going to put it on again. The ads, I think in all the history of the ad people going like, hey, you can't say that. No one was like, and now we're pulling your ad. You can't say that. Don't say that next time. Let's keep going.
Actress Evangeline Lilly. She played the Wasp in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She's part of the anti-vaccine movement. She
thinks she's still a wasp?
She's, yeah, right. For somebody hating jabs. Anyway, these superheroes, they're all kind of the same, okay? The shield is the strength of a god's hammer. The Hulk is the same as a lightning bolt, okay? They're all smart asses. It's never about their brains. Okay. Yeah. The sister, is it Black Panther's sister? Because, the actor died and people think it'd be insulting to have a new actor be the Black Panther. Is the sister was going to be the new star. She's anti-vax. So I don't know if they worked it out yet, but they're like, we can't use you then. We can't film you. We can't deal with insurance in you. What are you listening to? Fucking Joe Rogan just cost you your job.
It cost Neil Young's job.
Yeah.
This Wasp person.
I'm reading here that she made news in March of 2020 that she would not self-quarantine even though she was living with her cancer-stricken father. Imagine your date. This can easily happen. And email us, info@keithandthegirl.com if this happened in your relationship. Because you wouldn't even think, some couples, they don't talk about, do we want kids? Where do we want to live in the future? But you wouldn't even think to say, hey, if there's ever a pandemic, where do you stand on vaxes and masks?
Should we just turn on Joe Rogan and then just figure it out at that time?
Right.
Like maybe you don't know what to do, but you can settle on who will we listen to or where will we get our information when the time comes?
When the time comes, should we listen to somebody that doesn't know what's in the vaccine, but does somehow know what's in bull testicles and makes you eat them for $1 million. How do you think you want to play? So you don't even think to ask that. And all of a sudden your partner's like, yeah, I don't believe in the vaccine and I don't believe in the masks. And you're like, holy fuck, you're my wife. That'd be devastating. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Fucking devastating. I saw, by the way, speaking of shows, I saw this is on Amazon called Mr. Warmth, the Don Rickles Project. And you know, Don Rickles, he's like, hey, he attacks members in the crowd, but he ends the show with, it was all out of love. Good night. He's one of them.
So he's a roaster.
Yes. And I know I think he's beloved. He's dead now, but I think he was beloved. I never really got it, but I'm like, all right, let me see this documentary. And it's from a guy that did actual real movies. So I think they're going to take it serious. It shows him doing a casino show. And throughout it, they just cut in celebrity comedians you would know saying how much they love him. But I really want to know if these comedians are happy about it. It'd be a Sarah Silverman, for example, saying he gives it to him tough, but it's out of love. Then it cuts back to the show of Don Rickles, and Don Rickles is like, we got a gook in the front row. That's the end of the joke. He goes, hey, how you guys doing here? Looks at the band. There happens to be one black guy in the band. And he goes, I don't want to hear from the black guy, though. And the audience laughs. There was no point to that. I'm not paraphrasing or cutting things out. You just pointed out it's just a racist crowd that is enjoying this shit. All you said was, I don't want to hear from the black guy because he's the only black guy. It makes no sense.
That's like sort of like how I think like in the 80s or 90s or maybe even now, people go like, what are you, gay? And that's supposed to be the insult. That's it. End of story. What are you, gay?
Yeah.
Like, and you're not being like anything homosexual. We're being homophobic in that whatever you're doing is negative. It's gay. It's probably effeminate. Female is bad, especially if like you're male sex. So it's so layered. And all you're saying is, what are you, gay?
In real life, as opposed to doing a show, he saw, this is a couple years ago, he saw Kevin Hart somewhere and he pinches both of Kevin Hart's cheeks and says, you look like a little monkey. So it's not like I'm watching some show from decades ago. Even though that would be weird too.
Oh, it's not from decades ago?
No, I think that show was like 5 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is historical like footage. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
Oh.
Okay.
You got to remember that comedians are like, oh yeah, I don't watch anyone's set because I don't want it seeping in. Well, maybe this is why you don't watch anyone's set. So you could just go, yeah, they're funny.
Like that's real good how you pointed out the black guy in the thing. And by the way, a job's a job and we all have to work, but it didn't look like the black guy was just laughing and really enjoyed it. Really, he's like, yeah, he picks on me. And in fact, they go through each person. They talk to members of the band. He has a band to take up time. And they talk to members of the band. None of them are really talking with a smile on their face. I don't know. It's called Mr. Warmth, the Don Rickles Project. People can tell me if I missed something because it does have high scores on Rotten Tomatoes.
It really sounds now like you're recommending it, but I know you don't do that anymore.
I want everybody. Well, misery loves company. So I love when people hate things with me. Okay. We're all going to see Mortal Kombat 2 together, right, everybody? Okay. That's my point.
By the way, did you hear of this thing that Instagram and Facebook, of course, they're the same company, but now what they're doing is they're linking everybody's profile together. So if you were on Instagram and on Facebook, but separate, like this is my account for this shit and this is my account for this shit, they will figure out that both of those things are you and link your account. So they did this to Xerxes recently. He has pothead.nyc on Instagram, and on Facebook, he's Xerxes. That's just a regular person profile. Pothead.nyc, obviously it's focused on weed. It's got like, his spliffs that he rolls and things like that. And one day they put his full name on the pothead.nyc account on Instagram, and his picture from Facebook was now his profile picture on Instagram. And they're like, hey, we figured out this is you. They're asking people to link it. But if you're not linking it, because I don't know, I didn't even see them asking me. If you're not linking it, they are, you know, in the back, just kind of like looking for it and then linking you. Then I start thinking, like, I know that Xerxes is a pothead, but if I only knew about this one account, which is the Facebook, just like, hey, I'm a regular guy, here's who I hang out with, whatever. And suddenly you got linked. So people are probably getting fired over this. Like, let's say you have a regular job and now they connect, you know, your Facebook with this pothead guy. Or how about this? You were a hater, you know, and you're actually hating on your own friends' posts and stuff. Like, you know, like all the stuff that could suddenly come out when it's like, boom, this is actually your picture. His picture before was a perfectly rolled spliff. Now it's his face.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how many people got in trouble? This is like leaking what's that website here? Come here and cheat on your spouse. This is like leaking that shit. People are getting fired. They're getting divorces. I want to know if this happened to anybody, or if they saw this, or if they heard, you know, the controversy behind it that's happening to people because of it.
It happened to me in that Facebook owns Oculus, the VR, you know, headset. And I bought a game. It happened to be called Population One, if you guys are playing that. So anyway, but I already took it back because I land there and it's, you know, 5-year-olds. Hey, why don't you suck my dick? And I'm like, okay, somehow I think I'm going to get in trouble. I'm out of here. There
should be a button. I don't want to play with any children. Why is that not a button? That's so fucking crazy. No children. I don't want them in my headphones. I don't want to play with them.
So I'm in this big lobby area and there's a giant scoreboard. And I hear somebody go, how did they get my face? I look at the scoreboard. Oculus took my face from my Facebook account. Okay. And my face is there. My face happens to be when I was a child, being silly, but there's real dudes' faces for what that's worth. They have fake names and real faces.
That's, you know, I mean, I think they're reminding everybody you're just not going to be anonymous on the internet, but, and like, maybe, you know, we should have known that or whatever, but still, you know, like there are innocent things that happen like this. Like, you know, you do have this persona that you don't present to your work because it's just inappropriate. You're not being inappropriate in your life, but it's inappropriate to connect that with your work. I don't know, this weird work things that you people go through.
I was playing the game against a Russian bot because I see all the information right there.
It's just, that's freaky, right? I really want to know if people had personal situations happen because of this, or their friends did, or something like that.
Yes, it was very strange, and it added to me just taking the game back. I have a OMAT review over here, Kenda, from Catherine.
I hope it's good because you're reading it, it sounds like.
I'm going to just read it without pre-looking at it, okay? And we're going to see, how does Kenda do a good job? Does this person have complaints?
I'm holding my breath. Okay. Catherine Heller?
I love OMAT because Catherine Heller. Okay. I didn't even check. Catherine Heller, you're right.
Well, you said Catherine, and I know who's in OMAT.
I love OMAT because even though I wasn't raised in a religious household, every weekend growing up in New York, I attended a Jewish or Catholic religious thing, be it bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, b'nai mitzvahs. Is that the new woke way? What does that mean? What's b'nai?
Bar mitzvah. Yeah, it's both. Yeah.
I'm going to guess it means everything.
Me and my brother had one together, so maybe that would also qualify.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like those b'nai, those little, you know, doughy things with cream. Catholic weddings and funerals, etc. The one thing that stood out to me about these events was that the community showed up, was present, and supported each other. That's what OMAT is to me. Thanks for starting a religion. That's not one. Let's get freaky and make water the new Kool-Aid. XO.
That's funny. Make water the new Kool-Aid.
Right. Speaking of friendship, I'm excited for people to check out the new Diamond Dogs. It's in your VIP package. You know this. KeithandTheGirl.com/VIP. And we did a show with myself, Hollywood Craig Klein, Rod Main Street Morrow from The Black Guy Who Tips, and Ray DeVito joined us. And I had a little problem with Ray DeVito, so I knew we had to talk it out. The description says there's barking, biting, fisting, and fucking. I should have said fighting and fucking. Damn it. The quartet discusses a years-long beef, Keith supporting Craig in the Kansas City Chiefs, and the downfall of Representative Matt Gaetz. The title of the show is Rock Bottom, formerly known as the G-Hole. That'll make sense. And what we had to talk about was that I happened to listen to a Rock Bottom episode. That's the name of Ray's podcast. And he was shitting on Keith and the girl. And I got to go, well, obviously, people like to get things out of off their chest, but then don't want the person they're talking about to hear it. But then at the same time, want everybody to listen to their show. Well, congrats. I listened. And I go, hey, what the fuck? What I did was I took a screenshot of the timestamp of his podcast with the podcast picture. And I wrote to him, you son of a gun.
Now I listened, you played the clip on Diamond Dogs.
Yes.
And it sounded like he was going to cry.
Yeah.
In the clip. And I thought it was a lot lighter than what you described. He didn't say fuck these people, but it was, I'm mad at them. I don't like them. And I think they're wrong. But it was, I don't know.
But from something that happened years ago. So I wrote, you son of a gun. Just know that I know. Right? And he writes back, I miss you, buddy. Always good times. What the fuck?
I love it.
So I say this on Diamond Dogs, but I'm like, do you think I sent you a meme and you didn't know what it meant, but you're happy that I'm happy I sent it? Because I wrote haha for other people's pleasure sometimes. I don't know if he knew that was his show. And I think the second, you son of a gun, woke him up and he said, well, serious, I'd like to talk to you in person about what hurt my feelings. I tried to last year before I left and wussed out. I'll be in New York City in late January. It's not an easy subject to talk about. If you'd rather do it over the phone sometime, that's cool too. I should have reached out sooner. I don't like that. Now it's my project. And I'm like, no, then we do it on Diamond Dogs. That's how we do it. That's how we have this conversation. Well, I don't, he goes, oh, I'm happy to do Diamond Dogs. I don't want to talk about this though. That's not how it works. On your show now we talk about it on the show.
See, because it seems like you can't talk to your friends outside of the podcast, but your reaction is you started it on a show.
Yeah.
Then we continue it on a show. If you came to me privately, I wouldn't necessarily have to talk about it. And I would ask you if it's cool to talk about.
It needs to be concluded to me. Like this probably isn't necessarily needed, but I do take podcasting very seriously. And I can't help but think there's somebody listening to his episode saying, well, you said you went on tour with these guys and they hurt your feelings. Like you bring up the tour because you're so close with them. And we knew this guy back in 2008. So they go, oh, there's a problem with Keith and the Girl. Now all of a sudden you're on Keith and the Girl and we don't bring up anything. Then I look like the dumbest fucking person that doesn't know how to ask questions, or I'm just some kind of sucker. And I'm like, no, this needs to be talked about publicly for us to move on. That's what I think.
And I understand that. I don't always go that way. I don't care. You can say that. I don't know. And I get it. And I don't think that you're wrong. I also don't think I'm wrong. I think if I heard it, I would have showed it to you. But I also know that if you're going to hear it, we're going to talk about it on the show. But I wouldn't hide it from you just to not talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Well, then you don't get to talk about it. But anyway, it's a journey. I think you're going to like the conversation. It's the latest Diamond Dogs in your VIP package.
I love Rod's response to all of it. He was pretty quiet. Yeah, he's pretty quiet throughout the episode. But when he chimes in, it's like it's just the clarification. Remember when Chaz he was on Silent Trailers and he would rap about the entire round that just happens, like the summary. Rod would chime in and we'd be like, okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking. I didn't know. It was just so great. And Craig's response to you is so interesting because he knows why, there is a reason to be mad at Keith, but he's like having so much fun, but also trying to stay in the depth of his own waters, but love splashing around with you. It's very interesting dynamic that the two of you have.
And then Craig and Rod ended up doing a little good cop, bad cop because Ray's telling some story. And
Craig tries to good cop people, and Craig, don't ever good cop me, because whatever you really
it comes
feel,
off worse.
It's because he's choosing to see another side, but he ends up speaking from his perspective anyway. So it could match the good cop, it could match the bad cop, but eventually it will be the cop that he is. It's not. Right. You can't take sides that are not yours, Craig. You just can't. We know what side you're on whenever you speak.
Craig goes, I hear what you're saying, Ray, and I believe you. And then Rod goes, I know you did this shit and I don't believe you. And Ray's like, I shouldn't have done this in the first place. And I'm like, well, we have to finish it. We have to talk about it. So check it out. People seem to be liking it. All right. And mark your calendar, February 5th.
That's next week. It's a week from tomorrow as of this recording.
The marathon, 24 hours, over 50 guests. Will we see Ray DeVito? You'll know if you listen to Diamond Dogs, but we're going to have guest after guest after guest after guest. And it's going to be, and Kenda was giving me the lineup today. No exaggeration when I say, woo-wee!
But look at this. I'm seeing Bianca Brady at 6 a.m. And none of these have been solidified. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solidify a little bit more. And then on Monday, on last week on Keith and the Girl in your VIP package, we'll give away some of these spots and let you know who's on when. But I'm seeing some names we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing some names that we love the return of. And holy shit.
Do you have how it? Do you have how
at least three guests an hour, even in the middle of the night. What?
Sorry, I'm all excited. Do you have the beginning of the marathon that you were telling me? Are those solidified? Are those okay to say?
Yes. Now, keep in mind, everyone gave me their availability, and I'm basing this on that. Sometimes after I change, everybody like, okay, you gave me this spot, I'm picking this spot. Sometimes there are little changes, but as of now, how deep would you like to go?
Give me what you told me today. It was pretty exciting.
I went through the whole marathon with you today, but you must have blacked out after the first.
There were so many people.
All right. Kevin Allison and Mike Cannon will start us off. Billy Procida, because I thought Mike Cannon's response to Billy might be funny. Then Ophira will join with Billy. Then Danny Vega and Sarah Levine are going to give us one of those Am I the Asshole? Which I think Tim Dillon chiming in, he's coming in afterwards, might get like the residual effect of continuing the asshole talk. Then I thought it'd be very funny. Tim Dillon's accent with Mark DeMeo's accent.
Yes.
Put them together.
Oh, don't be a shoplifter around them.
And then JC Best, which we haven't heard from in a while, and the Morrows are coming in. Colin O'Brien, the guy who had that dating site just for himself, Mae Wilkerson, Athir, Patrick Holbert, where last time we left off, he and his partner Ross are coming in. When they came in, they were talking about how he cheated and how blah, blah, blah. And now they're open relationship and she's dating this Dominican guy and they're pregnant. And they're not sure if it's this other guys are there. So ever since then, they did have their baby. They're chiming in together to give us the update on that. I'm looking at Lenny Marcus's name at some point. Tim McLaughlin, who won Katka's Best New Guest, but we'll tell you a little bit more on VIP this Monday. It's a great time to be VIP. Why? Because it continues the show going. We do these shows for free. We're able to do that because of the VIP people. Also, if you want to support our supporters, and VIPs at keithandthegirl.com/VIP. If you want to support our supporters like today's Athletic Greens, keithandthegirl.com/coupons. If you're going to buy the thing anyway, use our link so that we can keep this show going.
There you have it. And to be clear, how do you see the marathon? It'll be available free on YouTube. So go under Keith and the Girl, hit the bell, so that they remind you. And that's that. Have a great weekend. I got to do some push-ups.
KeithandTheGirl.com